Dump like a truck. That's like what? All night long.
Let me see that thong.
You know, despite the idea being relatively frowned upon, the idea of a movie or TV adaptation to a popular game does actually make sense. The Uncharted movie probably could have worked if not for a few obvious bad decisions, and HBO's The Last of Us was a huge success and worth watching in my opinion. Given that was story-driven, making it into a series wasn't the hardest task, and Uncharted's action-adventure theme was definitely more fitting for a movie than a show, given it had been done right, which it wasn't. Then you have something like Twisted Metal, a game that sees one of many contestants competing in a vehicular combat-themed tournament, in the hopes of winning and being granted a single wish. It definitely seems more like a movie concept to me, and we did almost get something like that about a decade ago. However, around that time, Sony thought it'd be a good idea to take the new game that was designed to be for online only, and put in single-player elements that simply did not fit, so they could charge more money, and then fuck up said online mode so nobody plays it. Essentially, Sony did what they do best and ruined everything, but that's a story for another day. This led to a lot of negativity toward the franchise, and the movie did not seem like the best idea at that time. I'd definitely be open to something like that now, but instead we're getting a series on Peacock. We've known about this for a few years now, and I've always wondered how they're going to do this, given the only real story in the game is at the end and sometimes at the beginning. Well, the answer is they're not. This game is about gameplay. That's what you spend most of your time doing, and making it into a full-length TV series is all but impossible without losing the show's identity. The plot that we know so far is that Milkman John Doe, a character they likely handpicked, has to deliver a package through an apocalyptic wasteland that seems to be ruled by something along the lines of gang factions. One of them is of course Sweet Tooth, and that does mean we'll get vehicular combat. Unfortunately, that seems to be where the similarities end, aside from a few names. That being Sweet Tooth, Agent Stone, John Doe in name only, Raven in name only, and a few others we haven't seen much of just yet. Also, the apocalyptic setting has nothing to do with Twisted Metal aside from a cancelled game, but again, I guess they have to do something, and maybe that was the best they had. I do want to say I'm not inherently against this could definitely be a fun show, but the question is it gonna be Twisted Metal, or a generic Mad Max ripoff with notable things like Sweet Tooth and the title to get your attention? Honestly, I don't know why they do that, as Twisted Metal isn't exactly the hottest thing right now. In fact, it hasn't been for a long time. Yeah, it got my attention, but based on what we've seen so far, it doesn't seem to be appealing to the fans that much. All that being said, there are things about it I do like. Anthony Mackie, the actor playing John Doe, definitely seems like a good fit given they've already labeled this action comedy, which is a good thing because comedy should be a thing here. It seems more like the comedy of the original games opposed to something like Black, but for the time being, we don't really know.
Toilet paper. 2-ply.
I think I can do better.
3-ply?
I do like the way the trailer introduces Sweet Tooth, that's pretty damn epic, but again, I don't know if he's the Sweet Tooth I remember. He definitely looks cool, but I question if he's a professional killer or just the leader of the faction that rules Las Vegas. Again, we simply don't know just yet, but it is possible this could be a step too far. Sadly, along with the contest, Calypso seems to be absent too, but I am grateful that the woman who gives John Doe the package is not a female counterpart. I say that because she does mention a wish, but it's probably not the same thing. John Doe is kind of questionable too, because that character only appeared one time in Twisted Metal Black, and based on what we've seen, he's nothing like that here. I don't really think any of these characters are gonna give off Twisted Metal vibes, except maybe Sweet Tooth, but I don't think that's the biggest issue they have. That would be the fact that they've taken a brand without too many active fans right now, slapped it onto a series that currently doesn't seem to relate that much, and possibly fucked up a few things in the process. If I had to bet, I'd say calling it Twisted Metal is probably the wrong move because simply having car combat isn't enough, and the only real notable thing we get is Sweet Tooth and his iconic truck. Could I be wrong? Yeah, but currently I've been given no reason to think that. I would have much rather just seen a cool apocalyptic show that's based around car combat and throws in comedic elements, maybe even a clown. The trailer definitely gets me excited to see what it's about, but I just don't know if calling it Twisted Metal is justified. And given the franchise's current popularity, I don't even know why they did it.
You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility.
Obviously, I would love to believe that we're getting some good Twisted Metal content that's somehow for the fans, but let's face it, that's not practical. It may be a fun show, I may even end up saying I like it, but a good adaptation, I highly doubt that. I'm the analyst, and remember kids, toilet paper really is the currency in the apocalypse. So, you've made it to the end. That's an impressive feat indeed. Since you managed that, I guess check out the gaming channel, in which I cover a variety of gaming topics, like analysis videos, such as this one. If you're into that, then press the link in the description. It's that simple.